Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. We've all noticed how much Daemon Targaryen resembles the White Walker King, right? What? We haven't? I can't be the only one then. Well, I'm not, because many viewers from around the world think the hypothesis could be true. Game of Thrones may be done, but House of the Dragon continues to provide the historical background that Westeros lacked. The Night King and the origins of White Walkers are only two of the numerous possibilities for this show. Before we begin, we acknowledge that Game of Thrones provides us with an origin for the White Walkers, even portraying the first man who eventually became the White Walker King. However, in proper TV form, some established facts can be changed or retconned. If a chance for a more compelling origin presents itself, the authors will undoubtedly seize it.
Where are you?
Is Daemon Targaryen the Night King? Daemon Targaryen, who is neither a hero nor a villain, is a fan favorite among the several characters featured in House of the Dragon. While Daemon may be an anti-hero, Game of Thrones does have a definite opponent in the shape of the Night King. The Night King and Daemon may appear distinct, but given that House of the Dragon is a prologue narrative, some may mistake them for the same. So, is Daemon Targaryen from Game of Thrones the Night King? The Night King, of course, is the ultimate commander of the Army of the Dead and the leader of the White Walkers. His murder at the hands of Arya Stark resulted in the extinction of his whole army, making him the very source of life for all White Walkers and the Wandering Dead. The Night King, of course, never spoke the entire time, but it was evident that he wished to wipe out humanity. We cannot help but notice parallels between Daemon and the Night King. The first is his wavy mane of hair, which is reminiscent of the initial appearance of the White Walker monarch in Game of Thrones. This pure white hairstyle is not shared by any other White Walkers or Westerosians. As a result, it is not a reach to believe that the White Walkers are led by a Targaryen. Another intriguing hint surrounds Daemon's clothing. The studded vest-like item does not appear popular in Westeros. Therefore, it is strange that the Night King's final appearance is comparable to what Daemon wears in the series. Again, this is just guesswork, but he appears to be kind to maintain his sense of style even while becoming a mindless zombie. The third and last indication of his White Walker identity is his Targaryen ancestry and ability to ride dragons. The Night King could not only capture a dragon from Daenerys, but also bend it to his whim, transforming it into his own zombie-like mount. Sure, assuming that the ancient power in its blood enabled him to control dragons is interesting, but it feels a little weak when contrasted to an explanation incorporating Daemon's unique Targaryen blood coupled with whatever the White Walkers are up to. That combo may have been powerful enough to defeat and zombify the dragon. I mean, just think about it. Okay, now for the counter-argument. So you thought there wouldn't be one? And you were also ready to type a lot. Not so lovely things, right? Well, guess what? There is one in this video. Daemon was born more than 200 years before Game of Thrones events. Meanwhile, his alleged death occurred roughly 170 years before the events of Game of Thrones. Those who had their ears open during the events of Game of Thrones will know that the Night King has been there for much longer. According to Game of Thrones, the Night King was created by the children of the forest during the period of the First Men to defend themselves from mankind. However, the Night King grew too powerful for the children of the forest to govern, and he began assembling an army that allowed him to threaten the whole continent. Nonetheless, the united efforts of the First Men and the children of the forest allowed them to force the Night King all the way to the north, while Brandon the Builder erected the wall to keep the White Walkers at bay. This occurred between 8,000 and 10,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones. In that perspective, the Night King existed for tens of thousands of years prior to the birth of Daemon Targaryen. As a result, Daemon, who lived about 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, could not possibly be the same creature that lived for thousands of years before his demise in those events. Therefore, there is no basis for supporting that Daemon and the Night King are the same individual. Marvelous verdict. In the broad scheme of things, House of the Dragon is still a relatively recent addition, so it's safe to assume that there are many avenues for research. Daemon now comes off as a snooty Targaryen, but there's a significant potential that his character development may drastically alter the audience's opinion of him before his tragic ascension to his icy throne. Though not in the manner he would have planned, it would be highly poetic for the authors to have him ascend to the throne. If you enjoyed watching this, then click on the like and share button. Also, remember to comment what you thought about this video, and I'll see you on our next video.